Hey there, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here. Wanted to hop on, give everyone an update on the forecast because we have a lot that's going to be going on in terms of weather over the next 7 days or so. And also wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on across the West Coast as well. But here locally, it's a fairly typical January day. It's a little chilly outside, nothing that we can't handle though. We are seeing temperatures mainly in the 50s at this point, and also noticing a little bit more cloud cover here or there. We did see some sunshine earlier today. As of right now though, at least closer to the coast, not as much sun, not as gloomy as what it was this past weekend, but with a little more cloud cover that's keeping our temperatures right now more so in the low to mid 50s, a few upper 50s here or there, but temperature's not going to be changing too much as we head into the rest of the day. 54 right now in Gulfport at the airport. We've got a dry northerly wind and we are going to stay completely dry overnight tonight. We'll keep some of those clouds in place, and I do expect temperatures to stay above freezing, so that's some good news. Still going to be chilly though, temperatures remaining in the low to mid 40s as we head into Wednesday, but we are not expecting any 30s on the board. And that may change by Thursday morning. A few of us, by Thursday morning and Friday morning, we could see some 30s a little bit farther inland, more so on Friday morning. But as for tonight, temperature is going to stay a little bit more steady. So satellite right now showing some of those clouds streaming in from the south and west. And as I widen this out, we can see there's quite a few more clouds to our south and west into parts of Texas. They're caught in the upper level flow of the atmosphere. And so we will expect to see more cloud cover throughout the day on Wednesday. Some clouds may linger into Thursday morning, and we may also see a few showers at that point. Nothing major, but that's going to be our next chance of seeing a little wet weather. So for us here locally, the weather fairly quiet today. However, on the West Coast, specifically in Southern California, they are still battling those really dangerous fires. And unfortunately, the pattern out there today, not favorable for them whatsoever. We're still seeing some strong offshore winds. The setup in the upper levels is that they have an area of high pressure to their north, low pressure off the Pacific coast. What we have here is what we call a tight pressure gradient. We have a strong wind, and with that wind offshore, that's causing those Santa Ana winds to become a little bit stronger. So Santa Ana winds, these are winds coming down the mountainside. It's warm. It's a warm, dry wind. They could see some gusts today near 60 to 70 miles per hour. And of course, that is not helping the fire situation out there. So extremely high fire danger risk for Southern California today, unfortunately, just based off of the setup with that high and low pressure. So diving in a little bit more to the Santa Ana wind, I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about this. This happens typically in the fall, winter, sometimes early spring. So what happens is we get this area of high pressure to build in each of the Sierra Mountains into parts of California. And as of today, there's a big area of low pressure over the Pacific Ocean. So we get that tight pressure gradient. The air gets pushed down the mountains, it's compressed, it warms up as it does so. It also dries out. So the relative humidity in Southern California right now, very, very low. It's also going over a desert, so that dries the air out even more so. So the air moves through some of these canyons. It causes very strong winds, and anytime there are strong winds, low humidity, it doesn't take long for those fires to spread very quickly. So unfortunately, conditions today in Southern California, not good for the fire situation. Hopefully at some point the winds will begin to die down a little bit more, but just a heads up that today they are still going to be battling an uphill battle with those Santa Ana winds. Now here locally, like I've been saying, it's quiet. It's a very typical January day. We have some clouds in place, temperatures still a little bit below average. Not too abnormal though. We're seeing temperatures this afternoon in the 50s. And with those clouds sticking around tonight, we're more so cooling down into the low to mid 40s by early Wednesday morning. We are going to stay well above freezing. That is some good news if you have any plants you would like to protect. Still going to be chilly, especially with a little bit of a breeze, but not as cold as what we had earlier this morning. Tomorrow afternoon, very similar to today, more cloud cover sticking around. We will see some peaks of sunshine here or there, high temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 50s. And then overnight, Wednesday into Thursday, we do have a chance of seeing a few showers. I'm not expecting anything heavy at this point. Looks like the heaviest rain is going to stay way out there over the Gulf of Mexico, but a heads up that waking up early on Thursday, you may be running into a little bit of that wet weather. Thursday morning, if the clouds clear out of the way, some spots may dip into the upper 30s. But Thursday afternoon at this point looks really nice. I think we're going to see those clouds clear out of the way, giving us temperatures in the upper 50s, low 60s. Thursday is looking to be one of the best days of the week in terms of sunshine and temperatures. Now on Friday, more so in the evening, we have a better chance of seeing some showers ahead of our next big cold front. On Friday, if you like mild weather, it's going to be your kind of day. We're looking at high temperatures staying in the 60s. One final day of the 60s expected on Saturday ahead of this big cold front. This is going to be our main focus heading into the weekend and early next week. Now this front likely going to bring scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. Overall, though, not expecting too many rumbles of thunder. We'll keep an eye on that. Severe weather threat at this time looking very, very minimal. But what's going to happen is ahead of this cold front, we're going to see a southerly wind. That's going to help to draw in some moisture, some warmer air. So Saturday, we are looking at high temperatures peaking in the mid to upper 60s. Wave goodbye to that for quite some time because after this front, things are going to be getting much colder. The timing right now of this looks to be more so that we're going to see more of the rain in the morning and midday. It looks like this front will be moving through late Saturday night into Sunday morning, helping to push the rain along with that. Behind it, the air is going to be much, much colder. So Sunday morning, we are in for a blast of cold air. Temperatures not even going to be climbing much by Sunday afternoon with highs in the low 50s. We're going to be starting off Sunday morning in the 40s, but it is going to be very breezy behind this front as well. Now by Monday, that's when the cold air really settles in, which by the way, that's MLK Day. So if you have the day off, it's going to be chilly. It may be best to stay inside that day with this cold air. So for now, we're forecasting a high in the low 40s on Monday. Believe it or not, according to some model guidance, that could even be a little bit too warm. So we may even have to trend a little bit cooler heading into next week. We're still several days out, so nothing set in stone at this time. It's just the overall pattern is showing some much colder air moving in next week. Now, low temperatures by Monday morning, likely going to be close to freezing. Inland, probably going to be cooler than that. By Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning of next week, it's possible we are going to be seeing some hard freezes around the area. Temperatures dropping into the 20s for some spots along the coast. That could lead to some pipe issues. Just a heads up that next week we may have some pipe bursting freezes with temperatures dropping into the 20s. So Saturday, that's going to be the last mild day for quite some time. And as you can imagine, the wind is going to make things feel even colder. I looked around today at some of our forecast models, getting an idea of what the wind chill could be by Monday morning. We're talking wind chills possibly in the teens, low 20s. That even goes for those of us right along the coast. This is a European model, generally showing wind chills in the teens and 20s. And of course, a little farther inland, the colder it's going to be. The GFS model, pretty much right on par with that, showing wind chills also in the teens and 20s. Anytime we have model agreement, that gives us better confidence in our forecast. So I am very confident that Monday morning it is going to be really, really cold around the area, and it is also going to be windy. But of course, it's not going to be just us. If it's this cold along the Gulf Coast, you know it's going to be brutally cold to our north, and especially into parts of the upper Midwest. They could be seeing some very, very, very bitter cold air. So the setup is that we are looking at a big, deep trough moving across much of the country. That's going to allow some Arctic air to move farther to the south. And this is going to be a really significant trough. So a good portion of the lower 48 is going to be feeling a lot like January or by the middle of the month. So freezes are very likely in South Mississippi next week. The big question mark is, are we going to see any wintry weather in terms of snow, sleet, or freezing rain? It's just too early to know at this point. I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook and Twitter about this. just giving you a heads up, it's just too early to know. We will continue to monitor things by Tuesday and Wednesday. Some forecast models keep hinting that there could be something out there, but we are a week out from that. Models can easily change, and yesterday they were flip-flopping all over the place if there was going to be any sort of wintry mess here along the Gulf Coast. So stay tuned. We have to get that cool air and that moisture to set up in just the right setup for that to happen. So a lot of unknowns at that point in terms of any wintry precipitation. What we are very confident in is that huge cool down by early next week, right around MLK Day. So most of the country going to be seeing cooler than average temperatures January 20th through the 24th. So in the upper Midwest, it's going to be brutally cold. They're likely going to see temperatures below zero for a good portion of next week. Now for us, we are looking at temperatures in the 20s and 30s, which by our standards, that's really, really cold. So we could see some freezes with temperatures in the 20s all the way down to the coast. High temperatures may only reach the low 40s, maybe even only the upper 30s at times. I'm not going to rule that out next week for a few days. Just emphasizing, it is too early to know if we are going to see any sort of wintry precipitation. I've just been seeing a lot of chatter about that online. It's just too early to know at this point. We may not even have a better idea of that until we get into the weekend. Winter weather forecasting, it's very, very tough, especially here along the Gulf Coast. So stay tuned on that. What I can guarantee is that it is going to be getting very, very cold next week. This is a look at the next 10 days. Now keep in mind, the farther out in the forecast, the less accurate it's going to be, and the more that these numbers could change. But for now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're forecasting highs in the upper 30s, low 40s, some morning lows in the upper 20s on the coast. Inland areas, if you live in Pearl River, Stone, George County, you're more likely going to see the mid-20s. So at that point, pipes really need to be protected. But as for the rest of this week, not too bad. And we will be warming up into the low to mid-60s Thursday and Friday. I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that because once we get beyond that, things are going to be turning much, much cooler. Sunday will be a chilly, breezy day. At least we'll see a little bit more sunshine. But starting on Monday for MLK Day, yeah, it is going to be downright cold here in South Mississippi. So hopefully you can take this time to prepare, not only around your house, but also maybe mentally, let's be honest, to brace yourself for this bitter cold heading into Monday and Tuesday of next week. So we will have another update, of course, coming up today during our 4 o'clock show with the latest forecast. We will continue to update the forecast throughout the rest of the week in the mornings, afternoons, and evenings. Just emphasizing that next week is going to be cold. It's just too early to know if we are going to see any of that wintry precipitation or not. Hopefully we'll have a better idea of that by the weekend or so. So for now, I am going to sign off here. I'm going to get ready for our 4 o'clock show. Hopefully you can join us there, and hopefully you guys will stay warm throughout the rest of the week.